Chapter 433, Secret Past. Lumion diligently wrote down every detail of the events that had unfolded from the moment Lumion set foot in Red Swan Castle. He condensed the communications, focusing on the key points. He had a strong sense that the Sauron family's underground maze concealed a crucial secret. Fearing that he might lack the knowledge and write off problematic parts as normal, inadvertently overlooking something, he decided to mention everything and allow Madame Magician to assess it herself. It took Lumion half an hour to draft the letter. He then closed the curtains and performed a ritual, summoning the doll messenger. After nearly 20 minutes, the messenger returned with 2 folded squares of letter paper. There are actually 2 pages. She places quite a lot of importance on this. Lumion contemplated for a moment before silently unfolding them. Gardner Martin is correct. The so-called wax statue artisan and mutated black spider are actually an enhanced sphinx and black hunting spider, respectively. They contain Beyonder characteristics of the previous sequences. What he didn't mention is that using the heart not only affects your advancement, but is also linked to a special ritual that causes Beyonders who use it to merge with some of the Sauron family's bloodline, potentially subjecting them to a curse. However, for you, there's nothing to worry about. You've already taken the role of Emperor during the King's Pie game. Why should you fear this? That tiny trace of the Sauron family's bloodline might have an undiscovered significance at some point. Undiscovered significance? Is Madame Magician hinting at something she observed in her astromancy? If I genuinely use that withered heart to concoct the potion, not only will I possess a hint of the Blood Emperor's aura, but I'll also have a bit of the Sauron family's bloodline. What kind of fucking amalgamation would this be? Lumion mercilessly mocked himself. If he further possessed an Einhorn bloodline, Lumion wouldn't even dare to imagine whether he'd be considered a prodigy in the hunter pathway or simply mediocre. After this self-mockery, Lumion continued to read. You've gained a lot from this adventure. Combining your experiences, what you've witnessed, what you've heard, and what you've encountered in the previous 2 King's Pie games, my initial assessment is that the formidable angel Vermunda Champagne Sauron from 200 years ago is still alive. He resides somewhere underground in that chamber, confined within a bronze coffin, surrounded by white candles, iron-black rings, blood-colored spring water, and the hearts extracted from the Sauron family's core members through a unique ritual. Even the entire underground maze is linked to a perilous sealed artifacts, designed to limit Vermunda Sauron's movements to the greatest extent. This is the first victim of the Sauron family's curse. Why did he vanish suddenly? Why did he descend underground? And why does he remain alive? It has had a profound impact on generations of Red Swan Castle and the Sauron family, driving them to the brink of insanity. This is a crucial matter that requires further clarification. It's the real cause behind the Sauron family's decline. It's too dangerous for you. At your sequence, you would find it extremely challenging to investigate. As you've experienced, even hearing Vermunda Sauron's voice causes temporary disorientation, leaving you in a daze, and the wax statue artisan would reconstruct you. This prevents you from getting close to the bronze coffin and the seal over it. Of course, once you possess a trace of the Sauron family's bloodline and master the special ritual that Poofer Sauron once underwent, you might have a chance to enter that chamber. But all in all, I advise against taking this risk until you're prepared to advance to sequence 4 and approach the threshold of godhood. If Gardner Martin assigns a similar mission in the future, just perform it perfunctorily. Considering your contributions, the next time you require a potion formula or specific ingredients, feel free to contact me directly. You'll receive a substantial discount. Angel, Lumion's eyelids twitched. The mysterious and missing Sauron family ancestor, Vermunda, was, in fact, a formidable angel. The voice that had instantaneously robbed him of consciousness and nearly caused him to faint belonged to a genuine mythical creature. Furthermore, this angel remained in a state of complete madness and needed to be sealed. The Sauron family's underground maze is indeed a perilous place, but it also conceals a wealth of treasures. Lumion muttered with a mix of lingering fear and anticipation. In reality, even without Madame Magician's advice, he had no desire to risk approaching the chamber with the bronze coffin. What if Puffer Sauron was waiting there next time, and he ended up losing himself, only to be killed? It appeared that the mission to investigate the cause of the Sauron family's decline could only progress once he grew stronger. Of course, Gardner Martin could handle it himself or seek assistance from the vice presidents of the Iron and Blood Cross Order. After digesting these paragraphs, Lumion exhaled and continued reading the last part of the letter. Albus Medici isn't as straightforward as he may seem, not just a member of the Iron and Blood Cross Order. His last name is self-explanatory. In ancient times, before Blood Emperor Alistair Tudor became the Red Priest, the god of war had another name. He was one of the 8 kings of angels who had once served under the ancient sun god, known as the Red Angel or War Angel Medici. One of his duties was to watch over and instruct Ammon. King of angels, how do they differ from regular angels? The ancient sun god's impact on the future was profoundly significant. The one revered by the Aurora Order, some of the 7 orthodox gods, Ammon, and the former god of war, Medici, Lumion pondered, realizing that many issues of the current era might trace back to events 2,000 to 3,000 years ago, linked to the ancient sun god's downfall. His curiosity was piqued, and he read the remainder of the content with greater focus than before. Red Angel Medici, the Sauron family, and the Einhorn family's most ancient ancestor all perished simultaneously under Alistair Tudor and the nobles' combined efforts, giving rise to the Red Priest. However, after the Blood Emperor's demise, the Sauron and Einhorn families reclaimed their Beyonder characteristics. A king of angels doesn't meet his end so easily. For some reason, the Red Angel, Sauron, and Einhorn merged into a potent evil spirit, a fusion of malevolence. Just a few years ago, this evil spirit found a means to break free from the geographical confines, vanishing without a trace from its place of origin. Red Angel Medici left behind numerous descendants and established a secretive angelic lineage, with many residing in Banzi Harbor. Yes, the same Banzi Harbor I mentioned earlier, which was greatly corrupted and directly annihilated by the Church of Storms. However, over the past 1,000 to 2,000 years, members of the Medici family have gradually departed the island and returned to the northern continent. Albus Medici should be a direct descendant of one such individual. It's reasonable to suspect that Albus may have already crossed paths with this evil spirit. Removing the Sauron family's curse could be part of the Avuk spirit's agenda, and the portion linked to Red Angel Medici likely desires the Sauron family's hoarded possessions. They also seek to uncover what Vermunda Sauron experienced. As for Albus's presence at the Sacred Heart Cloister, it might be due to the evil spirit guiding him or the Iron and Blood Cross Order sensing an anomaly and sending him to establish contact with the monks and gather information. Don't worry, Miss Justice and Susie will keep a close watch. There's an issue with the Sacred Heart Cloister. Lumion hadn't foreseen problems with the Eternal Blazing Sun, Church's largest cloister in Trier, but Madam Magician's words had unmistakably highlighted this situation. Previously, when he speculated about Albus's purpose at the Sacred Heart Cloister, he had engaged in extensive analysis, yet he hadn't contemplated an issue with the cloister itself. He had merely assumed that Gardner Martin was seeking to understand certain matters there and gauge the inclinations and attitudes of various Eternal Blazing Sun Church factions. Combined with Madam Magician's statement that someone from the Tarot Club was monitoring a potential lead, Lumion now suspected that the issue with the Sacred Heart Cloister might be linked to the worship of an evil god. A substantial crisis is brewing. Lumion's sense of urgency surged. At the end of the letter, Madam Magician wrote, "Perhaps Gardner Martin's ability to see something in the underground maze is related to his exposure to the corruption at 13 Avenue du Marché. It could also be due to the item smuggled in through Rat. I don't know what it is exactly. Consume the potion soon and advance to sequence 6. If the catastrophe is averted unsuccessfully in the future, teleport out of Trier with the 2 of Cups and your friends, or seek refuge in Mr. Fool's Cathedral." Lumion read the reply and contemplated it for a moment, silently watching it consumed by the crimson flames. 3 Rue des Blouses Blanches, apartment 601. Franca, clad in a cotton shirt and light-colored pants, looked surprised when she saw Lumion outside the door. Didn't Poofer Sauron's banquet just begin? Why did he return so suddenly? I ventured into Red Swan Castle's underground maze this afternoon and gained quite a bit, Lumion replied with a smile as he entered the room and closed the door. I need your help now. What did you gain, and how can I help? Franca inquired, a mix of curiosity and confusion in her expression. Lumion chose to address the latter question. Help me hold something. If something goes wrong after I consume the potion, open it immediately. Consume the potion? Franca was taken aback. Have you finished digesting your pyromaniac potion? The digestion is complete, Lumion affirmed with a smile. Franca instinctively asked, have you gathered all the ingredients for your Conspirer potion? Yes, Lumion replied with a grin. Franca couldn't help but mutter. You've only been out for an afternoon, but it feels like you've been gone for 2 to 3 weeks. Not only had the pyromaniac potion been fully digested, but he had also acquired most of the ingredients for the subsequent potion. Lumion showed an unusual sincerity as he explained, this is all thanks to nature. No, thanks to Poofer Sauron.